Hi, good evening everyone. My name is Norazila Shazlin Binti Maharu. My metric number is A20B2206. And let me introduce to you my friend is FATIN LIYANA Binti Muhammad Salleh with her metric number is A20A1341 who will be emceeing with me for today's event. So, today our seminar is about the impact of endemic COVID-19 for the labor in the Malaysia. As we all know that all over the world today in endemic COVID-19 season. So, Zukrina and Semanti, my first question is, how about the current state of society in an industry or various sector and countries of the endemic time?
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is NURZUKRINA RAHAYU binti Muhammad ZAINI, metric number A20A1904. Now I will explain about the current state of industry and the country during the endemic transition. For industry, Malaysia is expected to change this year as part of the country efforts to transition to endemic status. Secondly, this expansionary momentum was fueled by increased private consumption and investment in an environment of improved sentiment and overall prospect. Next, industry are expected to rebound from poor two-year performance and perform better as their respective balance sheet are reviewed. Last but not least, for industry, the endemic-based transition has also facilitated the movement of human capital for employment and trade purpose, which has a positive impact on industry recovery while also assist with COVID-19 unemployment. For the country, the government loosened up standard operating procedure (SOP) and also reopened the country borders. However, wearing a face mask in public places is still required for everyone. Next, the government has devised some plans to deal with the possibility of a surge in new variants case in the future. Last but not least, the government is also prepared to provide people with the opportunity to live independently with COVID-19. That's all from me. Thank you.
First of all, thanks Miss
Asila.
AISYAH.
My name is SHANMATHY and my meeting number is A21B3070. For almost 2 years, the world has been hit by the COVID-19 pandemic and it was affected the economy all over the countries. However, in our country, from 1st April 2022, a bit of relief because we'll enter the transition to the endemic. The current state of society, industry, and country had been changed during the endemic transition. As for society, all the economic sectors have reopened and are back to normal. Therefore, people are going to work in rotation as normal. Moreover, those who lost their job during the pandemic are now eligible to get their job. The fresh graduates also can be able to get their job with their requirements so that the unemployment rate can be reduced slowly. Even though we are in the endemic transition, employees and also society must still follow the SOPs generated by our government. There are several SOPs that have to follow, such as face masks that have to wear in enclosed areas and optional in open areas, maintaining physical distancing and also hand hygiene. Then the working hours has been returned to the original state so that employees will pay their original salary and also they can work overtime. Moreover, the nature of working is starting to back to normal, but the hybrid working is still encouraging in some workplaces. People now can go everywhere, but there is a 50% capacity limit to activities involving large gatherings such as farewell parties, birthday parties, and also weddings. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much Zukrina and Shamanti because sharing with us about society in an industry or various sectors in this country of endemic season. As we all know, can see today a lot of good and bad things happen when endemic COVID-19 to the labor in the Malaysia. So, NUHA and ZAHRATUL, how about the impact of society and industry in Malaysia in the future if they are resolve this problem, and how if they are not addressed this problem?
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is NAZHATUL AISYAH Binti RIDZUAN, APT2023 I would like to talk about the good impacts on society, industry and country. Thank you to our moderator, FATIN. Well, the opening of the border, which began on April 1, will serve as a barometer for the country's economic recovery in the second quarter of 2022. The reopening of international borders will bring in more foreign tourists and provide a boost to the country's economy. In fact, the tourism industry's entire value chain will benefit, including the airline and hospitality and related service industries. Malaysia is expected to create many more new opportunities in business and job possibilities, especially prominent and high-paying ones. This government move will not only help the country's economy recover, but it will also help the individuals who were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. This phase of transition provides relief to people, especially those who own small and medium-sized firms, SMEs, because the recovery of SMEs is still weak, according to the Association of Small and Medium Enterprises of Malaysia, SAMENTA. Furthermore, the economics of the population is projected to increase as well, especially after the country's borders are opened. Those in the food and beverage industry, for example, will benefit immensely from the country's opening of its border. When the country's tourism sector reopens, the entire value chain of the tourism sector receives a positive impact. The opening of the country's borders is also expected to reposition local export companies in the global supply chain, particularly in the manufacturing and electrical and electronic sector, to improve competitiveness and productivity levels.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is NUHA binti MOHAMAD FADZIL. My matric number is A20A2201. Next, I will present about bad impact on society, industry and country. During the endemic transition, many graduate and the unemployed began looking for jobs. This will be competition for employment is very high. Prospective graduate need to compete to meet the need of the job market. Graduates who have the skill and competencies have an advantage in job marketability. It allows employers to make choices in the face of the challenge of current economic uncertainty. Clearly, prospective graduates need to be prepared to face this challenge and use creativity to run a business. They need to look for opportunities to improve skills so that they are relevant to current needs. Next, the Malaysian government does not restrict the entry of foreigners into Malaysia. This causes job opportunities for locals to be blocked. With the inclusion of these foreign workers, it will also create a crime problem. Criminal cases such as snatching, robbery, rape, and theft are undeniably becoming more prevalent. While all these crimes are not necessarily related to foreign immigrants, but the relationship with foreign immigrants is also inseparable. Frequent criminal activity not only threaten our own safety, but will also affect the image of country. Increasingly, serious criminal activity will concern all walks of life regardless of whether the person is male or female, young or old, rich or poor will also be one of the innocent victims. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nuha and NAZHATUL, for sharing the pros and cons to society, industry and the country in the future if it can be overcome and if it cannot be overcome. Next, suggestion for solve problem in the employee sector. WAFFA, can you give your suggestion?
Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. Thanks for having me. My name is WAFFA IRDANI EYRMA Binti SAIMON. My metric number is A208064. Now I will give my opinion regarding to this topic. As the country faced a wave of COVID-19 outbreak that started in March 2020, the most critical challenge today is to move to the endemic phase so that the economic, social, and emotional well-being of Malaysians, particularly the labor force, can be restored. Agency and government institutions play an important role in overcoming this problem. Initiative to generate resilient human capital must be done more thoroughly, involving all implementing agency and stakeholders to ensure the continuation of all economic and social activities during the recovery period. Next, build and recapitalize a resilient local young workforce is in the endemic era. Training program and training enhancement such as those offered by the Minister of Higher Education and program job guarantee by Perkeso should be utilized. Among the ideas for ensuring resilient human capital throughout the endemic phase is to encourage additional industry participants, particularly corporate firms, to provide training, experience, and job opportunity to the local workforce. However, the involvement of the local labor force needs to be expanded, and it is recommended to seize the opportunity and incentive available to make the best use of the development self-competence. At the same time, effort to enhance collaboration opportunity between higher learning institutions and industry players need to be carried out continuously so that the graduate produce are commensurate with the need today's industry. Among the job opportunities that have the potential to be developed specifically for job seekers are job opportunities that are digitizing oriented, which indirectly allow local workforce to depend on salaries job, but are young people who are able to create their own job opportunity. We can conclude that coordinated effort to produce resilient human capital can be motivate the local worker to keep up with continual progress in the employment sector. This is due to the rising demand for fast labor caused by the opening of the creation of job change to support the business market in an endemic period that would surely define Malaysia strongly perform in the future. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you, WAFFA, for your suggestion. Next, Azila, what is your suggestion to overcome this problem?
Thank you to Fatin. Before that, I would like to introduce myself in more detail. My name is Norazila Binti Arbain, number metric A20822197. I would like to introduce the suggestion that has been described by WAFFA just now. Okay. To ensure the agenda to recover, government must allow for a quick response to mandatory shock through counter-cyclical microeconomic regulation, profit aid for all workers, and the ability to rapidly strengthen employment retention programs. Government should enhance employment and social security system to cover all employees and ensure that awareness of danger prevention and human support are in place as soon as the problem becomes a reality. Strengthening labor market resiliency necessitates a more robust institutional capacity to accelerate essential initiatives while preserving service quality. This applies that when a disaster strikes, the coverage infrastructure must be nearby and able to expand it rapidly. Social discourse is an effective tool to design balance and appropriate policy response and the sectoral and national level and to develop sustainable medium-term recovery path. Social discourse is an effective tool to design balance and appropriate policy response at the sectoral and national level and to develop sustainable medium-term recovery path. In addition, the government should encourage the transformation from an informal economy to formal economy. Particularly, the tragedy afflicted workers inside the informal economy sector, encouraging
The transformation from a simple banking system to a good financial system must continue to be a priority for economy with a high proportion of temporary workers. It is requiring a combination of law to make works in the formal economic system more intensive than in the simple economic system. In conclusion, coordinates efforts to produce resilience human capital can motivate the local workers to keep up with continual progress in the employment sector. This is due to rising demand for both labor caused by the opening of economic sector as well as the creation of job chances to support the business market in an endemic period that will surely define Malaysian strong performance in the future. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, WAFFA and AZILA, for your suggestion. Next, SHAZWANI, can you tell the cause of the problem?
Thank you, moderator.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is SHAZWANI Binti Ma'azim. My matric number is 20A1633. I will continue in my part is the causes of the problem. First, the spread of the infection disease outbreaks. When the pandemic COVID in 2020 March, the government also introduced a new viral disease, the coronavirus, which is easily transmitted to the elderly, and the infection rate is very high to them. However, the disease also affect others, especially those who have jobs. This is because the working group will be easily by employers because the government has a movement control order (PKP) where every premises has to be closed, while departments working under the public and private sector have to work from home. Second, improving the living standard of the people. When workers are laid off by employers or private employers who have a salary only when working, they also experience the problem of financial crisis when necessity increase in price, but the people cannot afford to buy. This is because a family to be in mess and lost their source of income. For those with families, they cannot buy what they want to each other, and they also need to find new source of income to reduce the financial burden, such as online business. And third, the economic weakness of the country. The national economy is also very important in strengthening the stability of the country, both in external and domestic activity. Economic activities such as transportation, agriculture, manufacturing, tourism, business and admin can also increase the value of the national currency. This is because the activity increase the inflow and outflow of national currency within and outside the country, as well as being able to export and import goods and services from abroad. This is increase the GDP in country because the system of activity, country economic growth will grow rapidly. With this, the country also buy various new technology from abroad because it has more finance. And last but not least, a stable political situation. The political situation of a country can also put the people at risk. This is because a government country must have attitude of mutual cooperation and consideration, especially to the lower class. A government must take decision and carry out a task. Stakeholders should establish strategy to solve the problem who lost their job in pandemic. The people enjoy the latest quality and make it easier for other people. The government also create a new employment opportunity for the people who lost their jobs to strengthen the country's political stability. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, SHAZWANI, for sharing.
ZAHRATUL HUSNA can share with us about the sharing community acceptance in new reality of the current endemic employee sector.
Thank you for our moderator. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Norazila Husna Binti SHAARI. My metric number is APT2023. Today, I will present about how is public acceptance of endemic. Acceptance. To be in the endemic phase, the infection rate must be at an acceptable or controllable level. This means it is no longer a big issue for the hospital because in the endemic phase, the infection rate is low. Not many people need to be hospitalized and the death toll is also low. So, what is meant by acceptable level? It is a complex and dynamic situation. Many factors can influence this condition, namely the strength and duration of community immune protection, COVID-19 virus, susceptibility, healthcare ability in managing infection, and public health intervention preparation. Apart from that, it also takes into the account the attitude of the people. Their behavior will be determined whether the infection will be continue to spread or be controlled. As the conclusion, the good news to people is that we can return to near normal life and routine or new norms in endemic phase. The infection is still happening and there is definitely still uncertainty. Public health measures still need to be continued. The wearing of partial face masks, physical incarceration, crowded control, and better ventilation should continue to be implemented in area active infection. True, life has to go on and this endemic phase will help us get through it until we better understand this disease. Then we must continue to be vigilant and not complacent. Thank you.
Thank you ZAHRATUL HUSNA and the others panel for taking the time to share insight on the new realities of the employee sector during the transition to endemic season. That's our forum this morning. Thank you for all your cooperation in making our forum a success this morning. Thank you and Assalamualaikum. See you again. Bye.